everybody, and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vay, Chuck, and this, my friends, this is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program, and it is really good to be home. I mean, sleep in your own bed, drink your own sodas, and sit in the Thunder chair, bringing you a kick-ass show today, because Barolo 2004 is on the tip of every lip of every serious wine drinker right now, and we're going to break down 3 different wines, all from Mark DeGrazia, I noticed, who's a great importer of Piedmonte wines, and I'm really excited about it. 2004 is getting tremendous press, both from Robert Parker's Wine Advocate, through Antonio Galani, who scored all 3 of these wines, and through the Wine Spectator, who just released a release on the internet the other day with a bunch of 94, 95, 96 point scores. A lot of attention to this vintage. What I like about it is it's very classic. And on the heels of 2003 vintage, you know, it was very hot, if you remember. People were like dying in Europe, if you remember, with the 110 degrees. They don't have air conditioning out there. Anyway, the 04 is much more a throwback to the true essence, the terroir. The weather pattern was right. It's a classic vintage, and as a whole has been bringing some serious thunder. Just a bunch of things. I want to give a big shout out to the Seattle crew. We had an amazing time. Mott, did you have fun? Mott took like 40 pictures. He's a bigger star than I took like 3 pictures. Mott took like 40, 50 pictures. That was a lot of fun. We had an amazing time at Seattle Storage. We need to give them a huge shout out. Mott, you should probably link them up. I know how the fans like it, right? You like when Mott links it up. Even though he doesn't have a t-shirt coming, Mott, link it up. Let's link up Seattle Storage. Those guys were awesome to us. We had an amazing time at Taste of Washington. How about the shocking turn of events when I got clotheslined and was being choked? This is true. I was being choked by somebody. I had no idea what was going on. The guy lets go. I look, and it's Drew Bledsoe, the former quarterback of the disgusting, hated New England Patriots. I was wearing a Jets jersey. He said, "I'm sorry. It was a natural reaction." We had a great talk, and there's some rumbling about Drew maybe joining me on the Thunder Show. So that's a lot of exciting things. Went to San Fran, did a couple of wine parties. Thank you so much if you joined me for those. That was a lot of fun. Spoke at Google, Facebook. A lot of cool things going on, but you know, it's good to be home and focus on some vino, because at the end of the day, that's what I do. And so let's get into the first wine. The first wine we're doing is the Marengo 2004 Barolo Bricco Viole, 91 points, Antonio Galani, 44 US dollars. This is from the Piedmonte region in Italy, made from the Nebbiolo grape. That's a little fact that, you know, shockingly, a lot of people don't realize it. A lot of people think Barolo is a grape, or they think it's Sanjo. It's good to see everybody. People look different. I feel like I'm going to class reunions. It's like what happens when you travel this much. The Thundercats are on the show, Mott. We still need, we need to get our cloth back. I mean, we've been on this bare wood for a while, and I can't pour it, you know. It gets me a little sad. All right, let's get into the first wine. Say it with me, Vayner Nation. Let's give this wine a sniffy sniff. We have some shout-outs, Mott. First, let's give a huge, what is it, 7th birthday? I didn't read it, 7th, right? To Olivia Johnson. Big shout out to you, Olivia. 7 years old. That's awesome. I wish I was 7, honestly. I would pay ginormous amounts of cash to be 7 years old right now. So this is a great start to the Barolo tasting. Beautiful pomegranate nose coming through. And extremely floral. I'm really taken aback by the lilac kind of component. A little bit of lavender on the nose as well. Smells like walking through Bergdorf's in the in the what is that, perfume department. Thank you, Mott, for not coming through. Little Parmesan-y kind of action going on. A little bit of I get the lavender and the lilac, and then it comes and starts mixing in with a little bit of like a mushroom component. Makes me think of the mushroom dish that they serve at the BLT group. They call it like Black Forest. I don't remember what exactly, but it's a mix of mushrooms. I get that component on the nose as well. Some dark cherries coming through as well. Very pretty nose. Good start. Let's give it a whirl. I like how we're not fooling around. It's a nice early Monday going right into these serious, massive wines. Boy, this wine is dry. Very heavy on the tannins. This is a classic vintage. This is not baby wine. 44 bones, which is a good price point for a Barolo, not too obnoxiously unfair. Barolo is still sneakily priced fair. I'm never going to say 44, 52, and $54 is inexpensive. That's a lot of money for a bottle of wine. I respect that. However, in the scheme of collectible, classic, put in your cellar for 15-year wines, with what's happened in Napa Valley, in the Bordeaux, even Spain, and Barossa Valley, these Barolos have really been hovering in this 30 to 50 range over this last decade. With a horrible euro-dollar ratio right now, I'm just kind of shocked that these wines are still able to hover in this price point. So it's a little fun fact to think about if you're a collector. Back to this wine. Very dry, austere. I get a little bit of a rusty nail flavor coming through as well. What? You've never licked a rusty nail? Very big back-end tannins, bitter, not sweet tannins that a lot of us are accustomed to, and that is going to throw off some people. It's got great back-end length. I'm enjoying the charcoal, rusty nail, raspberry, strawberry conglomerate, brouhaha, mix-up in my mouth. But the bitter tannins are throwing me a little off. This is a wine that we need to put away. I think we'll get better with age. We'll tone down. We'll open up. 5 to 7 years in the cellar. I just can't get as excited as Antonio Galani has. I'm going to go 89 points in this wine. And all in all, for a $44 wine, and given the quality of this vintage, I'm going to give this wine a pass. We're only going to give it 3 Z's, Mod. So that means I don't hate it. I just don't see the quality-price ratio, or QPR as we call it, on that wine. Let's move on. Let's move on to our next shout-out. Samuel Batici Payas from Brazil. Thank you so much for watching Thunder Show. Brazil's been really rocking, Mod. I don't know if you've been seeing the stats, but Brazil, we did something in Brazil. We might have to go to Brazil. Mod, that's a trip.
You know I have a passport.
I saw your You guys have to. Mod, can you bring in your passport so we can put in the show?
No.
Okay. You need to see this. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, Renato Corino, 2004, Audrina Barolo, 92 points. Antonio Galani, 52 US dollars. 52, Pepper Johnson's number. That's when we can hold hands, right? He was a jet, he was a giant. We can all be friendly with that. Let's give this wine a sniffy sniff. A little bit of a tighter nose, not as aromatically as exciting as the last wine, though hopefully it's better on the mouthfeel and taste. This is kind of interesting. What I did get just now, which is nice, is a pretty cinnamon component, which I find commonly, believe it or not, in Barolo, and so I like it. I'm a big fan of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, so I'm going to like this wine. It's got a nice hint of cinnamon, little hints of like roasted red pepper coming through as well on the nose. And once again, classic sour cherry, which is a base component nose and flavor of many, many Barolos. Let's give it a whirl. Far more elegant than the last wine. Really impressed with the silkiness. These are some expensive sheets in a big 4-star hotel, silky sheet flavor on the palate. Really like it. This wine is good. Great complexity. Very dry. I mean, mouth is puckered. Say it with me. Puckered. But great length. Huge explosion. A little bit of an oregano, sage, basil-y component on the mid-palate, which, by the way, is extremely firm and goes into this gorgeous, I mean, beautiful, silky, long, extracted cherry sauce reduction on top of a duck kind of finish. Really, really well made. But great back-end tannins and the structure. If you ever wonder what people are looking for when they guesstimate, and that's all Parker, Spectator, Tanzer, me, anybody does, with how long this wine will last, you look for that great structure, tannin base, and how well the fruit ratio compared to that is. This wine, my friends, we're talking 15 to 20 years in the cellar, easy. Even would be willing to let a lot of people who had babies born in '04, when I always normally go Bordeaux because I know it's going to last for that 21st birthday, I think this wine has the guts, the goods, the chops to last that long. I am in love, just absolutely in love with the beautiful plum skin component. If you ever had plums, you know, the skin compared to the actual plum, I like that flavor. I really love the gorgeousness of the cranberry. I mean, we are in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and cranberry land. Good wine. I'm going exactly where Galani went on this wine. I'm going to go 92 points on this as well. 52 bones, a lot of money. But if you want to experience a classic, well put, extremely well structured, and textbook, beautiful Barolo, this is a wine to seek out. Nice wine. I'm going to give a big shout out globally to Oh Say Kiss, Minnesota, Mott. There's a big whole Vaniac thing going on there. Oh Say Kiss. Pretty cool. You know what? There's something else I want you to link up. We did the whole Santa Gary V thing on Twitter. Gotta follow me on Twitter, folks. It's right over here. Let's link up the link on Flickr to the 250 pictures. Have you seen that yet? The Santa Gary V thing.
Oh, yeah.
No, not the couch shots. The 250 pictures of people wearing the wristband on Flickr. Well, then link it up, Mott. You're going to check it out. The Vayner Nation needs to see it. Scroll down, click that link. It's really cool. A lot of great pictures. And finally, the last wine. Giacomo Grimaldi, 2004 Le Caste Barolo. This wine rolls in at 54 U.S. bones, 93 points, Galani. And I'm excited to see what this is going on. Man, these are really dry, complex wines. I mean, I'm really excited about this vintage as a whole. They are sneaking up. I remember this wine being like in the high 30s just like a vintage or two ago. So maybe I'm being a little bit carried away with the value, but they still are so much less than good Bordeaux's and California Cabs that I just think that Barolo is such a nice value play when you're rocking and you're balling like Jay-Z or like Mott. Mott rolls hard. You should have seen the fur coat he was wearing in Seattle the whole time. Let's give this wine a sniffy sniff. Nice color too. Aromatically, this is the wine that is the most New World of the bunch. This comes across with a little bit of like cream puffs, raspberry tart, rhubarb. Yeah, really heavy on the rhubarb, which is really cool. And very obvious. I also get a little bit of an apple component, which is a very weird red wine. It's more of a white wine characteristic, but I get a little bit of an apple thing going on. Very pretty. There's a little hint of like underlining peppermint even. I mean, this is very exotic, a little bit more New Worldy, as there's a little bit of like a candy kind of sauce, a little cherry cake kind of thing, chocolate covered cherries. Does have a much more chocolate component on the nose than the last two wines. I get a little bit of cocoa kind of thing going on. More, I mean, I'm doing this a lot again, Mon. I was off this for like hundreds and hundreds of episodes. It's coming back. Vaniacs, it's coming back. Let's give this wine a whirl. Really heavy on the tobacco flavor on the mid palate of this wine, which is going to make this a controversial wine because it's really heavy. If you're a guy that likes to dip, this could be a wine for you. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be kind of meh about this style. It's very tobacco-y and has that, which is an old world characteristic, and then it's completely surrounded by New World flavors. So it's kind of weird. As I was drinking the wine, I was like, uh-oh, I'm going to bash this wine for being too New World, which is my whole MO of being worried that the whole world is starting to taste the same, that Italian wines are starting to act like Shirazes, and things of that nature. It brought it back by giving me a little bit of like a broccoli tobacco flavor on the back end. But this is a wine that's trying to find itself. It's a little bit of a confused teenager. You know that teenager that's brought up in a really great household and you know is going to be a good kid one day, but is going through that 2 or 3 years when they just want to be a little bit of a rat and, you know, they just dyed their hair, maybe a mohawk Mott, and didn't come home on time. You know, it's that kind of wine, right? You feel, and I feel, This wine has big potential. It's going to be a solid investment banker. But right now it has a mohawk. Do you know what I mean? And that's what this wine's doing. It's trying to find its place. And I think we're just drinking it way too young, expecting a little bit too much from it at this point. It is a wine that is kind of perplexing. And I'll be honest with you, I think a majority of you would like it more than I do. I'm a little bit turned off by certain aspects of this wine, starting with the fact that I can't believe it smells right now like cotton candy. I mean, it is really loaded with a lot of New World, over-the-top love. But, gotta really, not smell this. It smells like a Now and Later. Actually, a strawberry Now and Later is what it actually smells like more now to me. You smell that? Mm-hmm. Wild, right?
It does smell like cotton candy.
Right? Super duper cotton candy, which is actually something it just picked up. Because when I first smelled it, it was just not there. That gets me now it smells like a strawberry fruit roll-up. I mean, it is very candy-esque, very New World on the nose. A little sugar-fied too. A little higher residual sugar. Not my cup of tea. Very much the cup of tea of many of you. Keep that in mind. Remember, who cares what I say? Trust your own palate. Try different things. Just because I like it doesn't mean you're going to like it. Do you like escargot? Do you like mangoes? Do you like English peas? If you didn't say yes to all three, we already have a different palate. Because I love those things. To this wine, I'm going to go 90 points in this wine. I like it. And I think it's got good potential. But it doesn't blow me away. It's a little bit less my style. It's a little less classic. It's not what I'm looking for. However, once again, I think a lot of you would like this wine. And if you see it on a restaurant list, or if you feel like splurging, it could be that really nice balance if you found yourself not liking Barolos in the past and you're a Cabernet and Shiraz fan from the New World. This could be the wine right up your alley. Mott, this was fun. We got some shows to tape again today. We'll do a couple more later. I think we're off to a good start. I'm excited. I liked this show. Question of the day. And by the way, not a lot of comments in the last couple episodes. I know I've been away. I don't think I asked a question. You might have felt out of touch. We need to hug. We need a cuddle. Here's a nice handshake. A little pound for you guys. Please answer. Leave some comments. You know how much that juices me up. It makes me want to continue to do the thing. I need the interaction. Please. Question of the day. What is your favorite Italian food? That's a good question, right, Mike? That should bring out everybody. Everybody's got a favorite Italian food. Because you, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not.